0320 a.m. Moscow's financial district. An $800 Ukrainian FPV drone is staring directly through the 21st floor window of the Ministry of Economic Development HQ. Its onboard AI is calculating the exact millisecond to detonate an 18-pound high-explosive thermite warhead. If it hits, the servers managing Russia's multi-billion-dollar war budget turn into molten slag. If it misses by just 10 feet, it slams into a reinforced concrete pillar, and the Kremlin's secret financial records stay safe. The margin for error? Zero. This moment actually began 6 hours ago, 18 miles away, inside the back of a nondescript civilian delivery truck. Rewind to 3 a.m., February 1st, 2026. Moscow is a bone-chilling -5 degrees Fahrenheit, and a light snow is dusting the glass skyscrapers of the IQ Quarter Tower, just 4.5 miles from the Kremlin. While Russia is busy flexing its muscles with joint naval drills alongside Iran and China in the Indian Ocean, and launching Shahed drones to black out Ukrainian cities in the dead of winter, Kyiv has decided to strike back at the Kremlin's wallet. This 50-story glass tower is the nerve center for Russia's war economy, housing the high-security servers used to bypass international sanctions and manage the military budget. But a 500-mile flight from the border is a suicide mission. To pull this off, Ukraine used a prepositioned scout relay. A smaller 12-pound scout drone was hidden inside a civilian delivery container 18 miles outside Moscow the night before. It has just popped up to provide a local jam-resistant data link for the final 180 miles per hour sprint. On the operator's screen in a bunker near Kyiv, the tactical display shows the red circles of Pantsir S1 and Tor M2 batteries surrounding the district. It's a $15 million defense grid against an $800 B that is already inside the house. If you were the Russian commander, would you prioritize the massive NATO-style threats or the tiny shadow currently weaving through your office towers? Let me know your strategy in the comments. The clock is at 87 seconds. The hunt is on. 3:12 a.m. 18 miles outside the Moscow ring road, the rear doors of a nondescript civilian delivery truck swing open, and the $800 FPV drone slides into the freezing night air. It immediately drops to an altitude of just 150 feet, skimming over the suburban rooftops to stay beneath the radar horizon of the S-400 batteries encircling the capital. The environment is a tactical nightmare. It is -5 degrees Fahrenheit, and a thick, ice-cold mist is rolling off the frozen ground. For a normal pilot, this is a hazard. For the Ukrainian operator, it's a thermal cloak. The mist scatters the infrared signatures, making the drone's small electric motor nearly invisible to the Russian heat-seeking sensors. In a reinforced bunker near Kyiv, the operator is white-knuckled, his breath hitching as he stares at a grainy, low-latency feed. His heart rate is pegged at 140 beats per minute. He's not just flying, he's threading a needle at 120 miles per hour. He executes a violent bank, threading the 45-pound drone through a narrow gap between two residential high-rises, nearly clipping a streetlight. One twitch of the thumb, 1 millisecond of lag, and $800 of tech and 18 pounds of thermite become a very loud, very public failure. Suddenly, the Prepositioned scout comes online. Hidden since the previous night near the banks of the Moskva River, the 12-pound scout drone pops up just 50 feet above the water. It doesn't broadcast a wide area signal that would scream, "I'm here," to the Russian jammers. Instead, it establishes a localized, encrypted whisper link with the attack drone. This is the masterstroke. While the Russian Krasuka 4 electronic warfare systems are busy flooding the atmosphere with broadband noise to block long-range satellite signals, they can't stop a direct line-of-sight data burst between two drones just a mile apart. The scout drone begins feeding real-time high-definition telemetry of the ministry building's window layout, updating the attack drone's flight path every microsecond. They are using Moscow's own urban density as a shield, sliding toward the target while the Russian defense grid is still looking at the horizon. The B is in the city, and the scout is holding the map. 3:15 a.m. The target is now just 2.8 miles away. The FPV drone's camera zooms in, and the distinct logo of the Ministry of Economic Development on the 21st floor becomes a high-definition death sentence. But the stealth run is over. The 92N6E gravestone radar of a nearby Pantsir S1, positioned on a reinforced platform just 1.2 miles away, achieves a hard lock. Target acquired, the Russian operator reports from his bunker. Launch 257 E6 missiles. Two Mach 4 interceptors scream into the freezing night. In the Kiev bunker, the operator sees the missile launch warning flash red across his HUD. He slams the joystick sideways, throwing the FPV drone into a violent zigzag between the looming office towers. The first missile detonates 120 feet away. The proximity shockwave hits the drone like a 500-pound hammer, tearing a jagged hole in the composite wing and sending the airframe into a terrifying 30-foot lurch toward the pavement. Hold. Adjust pitch, the operator gasps, his hands shaking as he fights the servos. The second missile misses by inches, exploding harmlessly against the concrete base of a luxury hotel as the drone dives to just 90 feet. By dropping into the radar dead zone created by the massive office towers, the drone effectively vanishes from the Pantsir's primary trackers. The Russian commander bellows into his headset, "Bogey vanished! Switch to optical thermal tracking immediately!" Suddenly, a mobile Tor M2 unit near the district entrance activates. Fire 39M338 missiles. The Tor interceptors are even faster, but the drone is now hugging the pavement, weaving around parked cars and neon-lit streetlights. A 9M338 explodes 80 feet away, the pressure wave rattling the drone's internal components and nearly flipping it over. On the rooftops of the surrounding skyscrapers, FSB security details are now fully scrambled. They sweep the sky with high-intensity spotlights, their AK-12S and shotguns spitting fire into the dark. Lead rounds whistle past the drone's motor, a hailstorm of metal designed to bring down the $800 intruder by sheer volume. But the drone is too low, and the city's own thermal noise from heated buildings and traffic is making it a nightmare for the Russian scopes to maintain a steady lock. The wolf is inside the maze, and the hunters are starting to realize they are shooting at shadows. 3:19 a.m. The FPV drone is now just 1.1 miles from the target. The camera feed is focused like a laser on the 21st floor server room windows, but the environment has become a digital hurricane. Suddenly, the Russian Krasuka 4 electronic warfare system surges to full power. The signal in the Kiev bunker lag spikes to 1.2 seconds. In high-speed drone flight, a 1-second delay is a death sentence. The drone drifts 250 feet off course in the blink of an eye, heading straight for a glass wall. "Jamming is too heavy! Switching to onboard AI mode!" the operator screams. This is where the $800 B outsmarts the $20 million Shield. The drone activates its open-source machine vision. It doesn't need a human pilot or a GPS signal anymore. Its silicon brain has already memorized the 3D geometry of the IQ quarter tower. It recalibrates instantly, recognizing the 800-foot silhouette of the skyscrapers and using them as a physical shield against the Russian radar. The Pantsir commander is slamming his fist on the console. He has the firepower to level a city block, but he can't fire through his own glass towers without causing a catastrophe. The drone is executing a 120 miles per hour zigzag, keeping a massive office building between itself and the missile battery at all times. The Pantsir launches another salvo, but the missiles detonate harmlessly 200 feet away, unable to navigate the urban canyons of Moscow's financial heart. To make matters worse for the Russians, the Prepositioned scout drone near the Moskva River is providing a secondary perspective. It's transmitting a local, short-range data burst that acts like a side-view mirror for the attack drone's AI. This allows the FPV to identify the radar shadows and blind spots created by the surrounding architecture. The drone has now lost 15% of its lift due to earlier shrapnel damage. It's shaking, its motor screaming as it fights the sub-zero air. "Compensate for the roll. Max throttle!" the operator commands, even as the feed stutters. The drone drops to just 60 feet AGL, hiding in the chaotic clutter of streetlights and neon signs. The Tor M2 units on the ground have completely lost the track. On the rooftops, FSB guards are firing shotguns wildly into the dark, but the AI is too fast. It's no longer just a drone. It's a surgical algorithm with 18 pounds of thermite, and it's already through the last line of defense. The Kremlin's wallet is less than 60 seconds from a forced audit. 3:19 a.m. The mission hits a crisis point. After the Pantsir fails, the Russian commander authorizes a desperate Tor M2 barrage. A 9M338 missile detonates just 60 feet away, the pressure wave shredding the drone's composite wing. "We're losing lift," the technician in Kiev shouts. Then, the second blow hits. The Krasuka 4 jammer successfully severs the long-range satellite link. The drone's camera feed turns to gray static and the airframe drifts dangerously toward the glass face of an adjacent skyscraper. But the Prepositioned scout drone, hovering silently 500 feet above the river, pings a local encrypted signal. It acts as a digital lighthouse, feeding the FPV drone's AIA real-time side view of the target. The FPV's silicon brain recalibrates in milliseconds, snapping the drone back onto a terminal vector for the 21st floor. It dives through a hail of FSB shotgun fire and blinding spotlights, weaving through the blind spots mapped by the scout. Inside the Russian bunker, the commander realizes the defense has been breached. "It's inside the grid! Emergency intercept!" he screams. But the Ukrainian operator just smiles. "They've got guns, we've got brains." The drone is now locked on. It's no longer a flight, it's an impact. 3:20 a.m. The final 12 seconds. The FPV drone, battered and missing chunks of its composite frame, is no longer a machine. It is a 180 miles per hour algorithm with one singular purpose. On the Ukrainian HUD, the logo of the Ministry of Economic Development fills the screen. The Russian rooftop guards are in a state of pure hysteria, their tracer rounds stitching the air around the drone, but the urban turbulence and the -5 degrees Fahrenheit wind make hitting a small weaving target almost impossible. Inside the Russian command bunker, the officers can only watch their monitors in horrified silence as the target disappears into the glass reflection of the IQ quarter tower. The 18-pound high-explosive Thermite warhead doesn't just blow a hole in the building, it delivers an industrial-grade furnace to the heart of the Russian economy. The FPV drone slams through the 21st floor windows, shattering 200 square feet of reinforced glass. Upon detonation, the thermite ignites instantly, reaching a terrifying temperature of 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This isn't a blast meant to level the skyscraper, it is a surgical strike on data. The white-hot chemical fire melts the high-security server racks in seconds, vaporizing the hard drives that contain Russia's secret plans for sanctions evasion and military budget allocation. The overpressure wave travels 50 feet through the office, blowing out internal partitions and turning the planning rooms of Putin's war machine into a smoldering graveyard of melted silicon and ash. The strategic fallout is absolute. While Putin's generals were busy posturing in the Indian Ocean with their Iranian and Chinese allies, Ukraine just decapitated the administrative brain of their war economy. The military procurement schedules and the secret financial links to overseas accounts are gone, causing immediate massive delays in military funding. The return on investment is a nightmare for the Kremlin. Ukraine spent roughly $800 on a drone and a few hundred more on a Prepositioned scout. In exchange, they bypassed a $20 million Pantsir S-1 defense grid and inflicted millions of dollars in irreparable data loss. Ukraine has proven that in modern warfare, a $600 scalpel is more dangerous than a multi-million-dollar shield. Now, I have a tactical question for you. With the Prepositioned scout tactic proving that Ukraine can launch drones from inside Moscow's own suburbs, how can Russia possibly counter this? Can they really search every civilian truck in a city of 13 million people, or is their urban defense forever compromised? Let me know your analysis in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown of how a few lines of AI code and a brilliant tactical plan checkmated a superpower's financial heart, make sure to destroy that like button and share this video. It helps the algorithm more than a Russian jammer helps a server room. Subscribe for more deep dives into the missions rewriting the history of war. Bye for now.